How was your 4th of July? I know we took the week off.
It was very patriotic. We were just firing guns in the air and just like shoving hot dogs down our throats. It was great.
Radio Free USA is now #1 in the iTunes store among a very important demographic, Rahul. Liberals who are still hungover from the 4th of July. So that's a stat for all the fans. What was your take on Trump's performance at the G20 Summit?
I think the key takeaway is just the like absolute abdication of leadership. Obviously, climate change. You know what the G20 at the G20 summit when they were kind of reaffirming kind of the commitments of the Paris Agreement, and the U.S. was the only country that wouldn't agree with that.
Exactly. I mean, the GOP never really stopped being the party of no, or the opposition party. The GOP are the example of the fat kid who got picked on, all of a sudden lost a bunch of weight, went to the gym, got all these rippling muscles, but is still a fat kid deep down inside. Okay, all they know about
rippling muscles. Have you seen Trump playing tennis? Have you seen that
Trump
photo?
playing tennis? Oh, baby got back. Right? Okay, baby got back. But and what I mean by that is they don't know anything about the Paris deal. They only know that Obama signed it. Ergo, it's bad. Okay. The absolute, epitome of the ineptitude of the Republican Party is that by the end of this summit, people were referring to it as the G19 because of American abdication of leadership. And we are the only G20 party to have walked away from the Paris deal, not to mention that we're in the company of Syria and Nicaragua, who Nicaragua actually didn't think it went far enough. So actually, it's just the United States and Syria who are opposed to the Paris Climate Accord.
Trump was just, casually just said like, wait, did you fuck with our elections? Putin's like, nah. And he's like, okay, cool.
We're good. Yep. Oh, we're good. Sure. I tried. Yeah. And why didn't he yank his hand? Like, I was a bit disappointed in that. The old hand yank that Trump pulls out. Would you think he was afraid of Putin, or do you think why didn't he pull his whole macho handshake bullshit on Vladimir?
Well, we know Vladimir. I mean, we've seen him riding shirtless on a horse. He probably has a mighty powerful handshake. He
doesn't have that limp handshake like Trump does. Can somebody please just tell George Soros to fund the Donald J. Trump Foundation for Political Amnesia? Because that's exactly what this man clearly has. And dementia. Did you hear the story about Ivanka Trump being briefly deputized?
To work day. It's a great thing. Yeah, it's great that people can bring their kids to work, and it's always really cute when I've done that when I've seen that at my office. But he was like, no, I want my baby girl to just get a have a little taste of what daddy's work is like.
I think allegedly what happened was Trump was on Air Force One listening to Beyonce. It was like, "Baby girl, you stay on my mind. You are my fantasy." And then he picked up the phone and had Air Force Two go pick up Ivanka and bring her to Hamburg. That's what I heard, though. I'm hearing in tweets. What was, I thought, a pretty awesome story, the fact that the governor of California, your boy Jerry Brown, showed up in Hamburg to effectively bitch slap Trump, your boy, and say prominently at a rally, he doesn't speak for the rest of America. So we know from last week's pod, there's this thing called Trump Care. It's really horrible.
I think we should do whatever it takes to retain what's already law, retain the healthcare system that people already have. I think it's a tricky situation for the GOP to navigate. Obviously, this bill is super unpopular. There was something like, I think it was 15 to 17% or so are in favor of.
Let's move on to the clown of the week. Who's your nominee this week?
So I'm going to go with our boy, Mr. Oil Moneybags.
Your boy.
AKA Secretary of State Rex Tillerson.
AKA Mr. Black Gold.
Black Gold, Texas Tea. There was this high-profile meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, his sugar daddy. But it's hard to believe when Tillerson and Trump are saying like, oh yeah, no, it was all good. Like, we asked him, he said nah. And we're like, okay, cool, let's work together. What's troubling with this series of discussions is that Tillerson is supposed to be one of the quote unquote adults in the room.
You just know deep down inside they were doing some shady shit in that room, right? Okay, they were watching the P tape. They were watching the Billy Bush clip, the Access Hollywood tape. Putin was like, showing Trump, flicking through his iPhone, showing him all the photos of him topless on like Siberian tigers and horses and shit. Like, that's what was going on. And then for about like 5 minutes at the end, they talked about drilling in Siberia and lifting sanctions. And that's about it. So thanks for listening in. And thanks again, guys, for making Radio Free USA the #1 podcast among liberals still hungover from the 4th of July holiday.